Welcome to Nashua South for a trivia matchup between Nashua South and Bishop Guertin. My name is Mrs. Byrne, and I'll be today's host. The students here today will be competing in an academic battle of the wits for the coveted prize of bragging rights. Before we get started, the South Granite State Challenge team would like to thank Mr. Leone and the video production students for making this event possible. Thank you. Now, let's introduce our teams. For Nashua South, Senior Curtis, Senior Narayan, Sophomore Eric, Sophomore Jerry, Sophomore Caroline. For Bishop Guertin, Junior Kobe, Junior Waleed, Sophomore Anthony, and Sophomore Aiden. This matchup will consist of 4 rounds: the 10-point toss-up round, the 3 strikes round, the 60-second round, and the 20-point toss-up round, with a twist. In the 4th round, if you get the answer wrong, you lose the points, so think before you buzz. Let's begin the first round, the 10-point toss-up. Okay, the Baseball Hall of Fame opened in 1939 in this New York village. Narayan?
Brooklyn.
No. Anyone from BG? Okay, moving on. In 1970, the Ohio National Guard opened fire on a group of anti-war protesters at this university, killing 4 students and wounding 9 others. Narayan?
Kent State.
Yes. Bulbs for this flower led to what many believe to be the first speculative bubble between 1634 and 1637, when the market collapsed. Next, Margaret Thatcher became the first female Prime Minister of the UK in 1979. This woman became the second female Prime Minister of the UK in 2016. Curtis?
Theresa May.
Yes. Who stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni? Curtis?
Yankee Doodle.
Yes. Television ads for this product were banned in 1971. Curtis?
Cigarettes.
Yes. When he wasn't riding around warning about the British, colonial patriot and Sons of Liberty Paul Revere was a practitioner of this trade. Narayan?
Blacksmithing.
No. Anyone from BG? Okay. The U.S. has had 2 father-son presidential combos, John and John Quincy Adams and George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush. Canada has had 1 father-son prime minister team, Justin Trudeau and this man who was his father. Curtis?
John Trudeau.
No. Anyone from BG? In its 5-4 decision in 2015, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Obergefell v. Hodges that the right to marriage is guaranteed to same-sex couples under Due Process Clause and the Equal Protection Clause found in this constitutional amendment. Narayan?
14.
Yes. This Kentucky city was named for King Louis XVI in 1780, 18 years before his execution, in recognition of France's help during the Revolutionary War. Eric?
Louisville.
Yes. Walt Whitman's 1865 poem, "O Captain, My Captain," begins with the lines, "O Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack, the prize we sought is won." Who was the subject of this poem? We'll move on to the next one. Musician Stevie Wonder's 1976 song, "Sir Duke," is a tribute to this jazz composer and band leader who wrote the songs "It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing," "Mood Indigo," and "Take the A Train." Curtis?
Duke Ellington.
Yes. In what sport will you find dribbles, dunks, blocks, and the occasional flop? Curtis?
Basketball.
Yes. In 1952, this English mathematician and computer scientist, considered to be the father of artificial intelligence, pleaded guilty to a charge of gross indecency for a homosexual relationship. He was portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch in the 2014 movie, The Imitation Game. Curtis?
Alan Turing.
Yes. What mixed number do you get when you add 1/2 to 3/5? Narayan.
1 1/5.
No.
1 1/10.
Yes. In 1931, over 1,000 World War I vets gathered at the U.S. Capitol in support of a bill the Senate was considering that would give them benefits. The group was known as this Army. We'll move on to the next one. In 1963, on the steps of Rathaus Schronberg in West Berlin, before a crowd of over 120,000 people, this U.S. president declared Ich bin ein Berliner. Curtis?
John F. Kennedy.
Yes. Republican leader and future Speaker of the House, Joe Cannon, no relation, said that this president, who was assassinated in 1901, kept his ear so close to the ground that it was full of grasshoppers. Narayan?
McKinley.
Yes. Power question. This 2008 animated Disney film features a TV star dog voiced by John Travolta, who believes he has the superpowers he has on the screen. Jerry?
Bolt.
Yes. The Soviet Union invaded this country in the summer of 1968 to stop the Prague Spring movement that called for decreasing restrictions on travel and speech and the decentralization of the government. Jerry?
The Czech Republic.
Yes. In 1889, the South Fork Dam broke and killed over 2,200 people in and around this Pennsylvania town. Eric?
Allentown.
No. PG? Clarence Thomas was the second black person named to the U.S. Supreme Court. Who was the third? Narayan?
Jackson.
Yes. How many months in the year have 31 days? Waleed?
7.
Yes. This woman was the 81st governor of New Hampshire and was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2016 and re-elected to a second term in 2022. Narayan?
Maggie Hassan.
Yes. The song Part of Your World from this 1989 animated Disney film almost didn't have its day in the sun when Disney chairman Jeffrey Katzenberg wanted it cut from the film because he thought it would bore young children.
The Little
Eric?
Mermaid.
Yes. In this 1993 film, directed by Steven Spielberg, Jeff Goldblum plays Dr. Ian Malcolm, a specialist in chaos theory. Kobe?
Jurassic Park.
Yes. This suspension bridge in California takes its name from the strait it crosses and not its color. Kobe?
Golden Gate.
Yes. Writer, abolitionist, and suffragist Julia Ward Howe was the co-founder of the American Women's Suffrage Association and the author of the words to this Civil War anthem, which is set to the music of John Brown's Body. Curtis?
Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Yes. George Washington was the first U.S. president, John Adams was the second, and Thomas Jefferson was the third U.S. president. Who was the fourth? Curtis?
Madison.
Yes. This woodwind instrument features a blowpipe, a bag, a chanter, and one or more drones. Kobe?
Bagpipes.
Yes. The 2022 race for the U.S. Senate seat in this state came down to a runoff race between incumbent Senator and pastor Raphael Warnock and former football player Herschel Walker. Narayan?
Georgia.
Yes. This essayist, philosopher, and poet, sometimes referred to as the Sage of Concord, was a leading proponent of transcendentalism. He met his first wife, Ellen Louisa Tucker, in Concord, New Hampshire in 1827 when he was a visiting pastor. Narayan?
Emerson.
Yes. January is named after this two-faced Roman god of transitions, beginnings, and doorways. Curtis?
Janus.
Yes. This band's 1969 rock opera, Tommy, featured the songs Pinball Wizard and I'm Free. Eric?
The Who.
Yes. In 1972, this U.S. president directed NASA to develop the space shuttle. Narayan?
Nixon.
Yes. Film director and producer David O. Selznick is known for 2 of the films listed in the top 10 of the American Film Institute's list of the 100 Years, 100 Movies list released in 2007. Both movies were produced in 1939. One movie featured Southern Belle Scarlett O'Hara, and the other film featured Midwestern farm girl Dorothy Gale. Name the 2 films. Curtis?
Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz.
Yes. What is the area of a circle with a radius of 1 inch to the nearest 100th? Kobe?
3.14.
Yes. In 1791, this state became the 14th state admitted to the United States. Eric?
Kentucky.
No. BG?
Nebraska?
No. In 1972, 5 burglars were arrested for breaking into the Democratic National Headquarters located in this Washington. Oh, that's time. Okay.
That was fun.
Yay.
Hey, we might have gotten killed, but it's okay.
Okay, so that's the end of our first round. The score is Nashua South 240, BG 60. Now it's time for our 3 strikes round. Each team will answer 10 questions worth 10 points each. Something in the previous question will be the inspiration for the next question. Each team gets 3 strikes and 3 passes for this round, so use them wisely. Team Nashua South, you'll go first. Curtis, Canadian poet and composer Leonard Cohen is perhaps best known for the song Hallelujah. The song has been performed by many artists, including Rufus Wainwright, in this 2001 animated Disney movie featuring an ogre and a donkey.
Shrek.
Narayan, Canadian singer-songwriter Rufus Wainwright is the son of Loudon Wainwright, who had a hit in 1972 with a novelty song about a dead one of these stinky mammals in the middle of the road.
Deer.
No. Sorry, Eric. You'll find Flower the skunk in this 1942 animated Disney movie.
Bambi.
Jerry, the music for Bambi was written by lyricist Larry Morey and composer Frank Churchill. They were also the lyricist and composer of the song Hi Ho in this 1937 Disney movie.
Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs.
Caroline, in this 1954 movie by Akira Kurosawa, takes place in Japan in 1586 and features a group of farmers who hire a group of men to protect them from bandits.
Pass.
So does it go to Curtis or the next? So Curtis, do you have an answer to that one?
Pass.
7 Samurai.
Yes. Eric, George Lucas cited Akira Kurosawa's film The Last Fortress as his inspiration for this 1977 film.
Star Wars: A New Hope.
This, Jerry, the Strategic Defense Initiative, commonly known as the Star Wars program, was proposed by this president in 1983.
Bush.
No. Caroline?
Oh, what was the year?
1983.
Jimmy Carter?
No. Curtis? Is that 3? Oh, it doesn't pass. Sorry about that. Curtis, before he became president, Ronald Reagan played a psychology professor in a movie called Bedtime for Bonzo. What species of animal was Bonzo?
Bear.
No. Is that, that's 3 strikes. Okay, so BG, Kobe, the 1998 Pulitzer-winning novel, The Hours by Michael Cunningham, was made into a 2002 movie starring Nicole Kidman, Meryl Streep, and Julianne Moore. It told the story of 3 generations of women affected by the 1925 novel Mrs. Dalloway by this British author.
Charles Dickens.
No. Waleed, this trio of porcine brothers sang a song about not being afraid of the big bad wolf in a 1933 Disney movie?
Three Little Pigs.
Say it again.
Three Little Pigs.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
This trio of brothers, Larry, Moe, and Curly, famous for their slapstick humor, were known by this collective name. Anthony?
Pass.
Aiden?
Pass.
Kobe?
Could I get a repeat?
This trio of brothers, Larry, Moe, and Curly, famous for their slapstick humor, were known by this collective name.
The Three Musketeers.
No. The Stooges, a rock group that formed in Ann Arbor, Michigan in 1967, was fronted by this singer who also wrote and recorded the song Lust for Life with David Bowie.
Is that me?
Yep.
No clue.
Okay, is that two?
Yeah.
That was three?
That's three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so South is now at 290 points and BG is at 70. We are halfway through our trivia matchup, and the score is now Nashua South 290 and BG 70. The third round is the 60-second round. Teams will have 60 seconds to answer as many of the 10 questions as they can. They can confer with each other, but only the captain's answers will be accepted. Each team will pick a category to answer from. So BG, our categories are the Peter Principle, Chuck's, or Tower Time.
we'll go with Tower Time.
Okay, so for Tower Time, this building in New York City bears the name of a former president.
Well, we can confer. I don't know our plan.
You guys think it?
I think of buildings in New York City.
The Empire State Building.
This building in Italy is a bit tilted.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa.
This chess piece looks like a tower.
The rook.
A rook.
This Butte, how do you say that? Butte in the Black Hills of Wyoming is featured in the 1977 movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Never seen it.
It's like the Bear Tower with the scratches in it, but I don't know what it's called.
Did you say
Pass.
Tower?
Okay, I think we're time. Or
The
are we at
Devil's
30
Tower,
seconds?
dude.
We're good.
Devil's
Okay.
Tower.
Okay, so Nashua South, we have the Peter Principle or Chuck's.
Chuck.
I mean, Peter Principle, it's either about principles or Peters. Chuck's is like what, shoes? Converse shoes?
Chucks.
Or people named Chuck? How many Chucks do we
Chucks.
Oh, let's do that. Should we do?
Chucks.
Yeah.
He is the Senate Majority Leader.
Chuck Schumer.
Chuck Schumer.
He is the mouse mascot for a pizza place where you might celebrate your
Chuck E.
birthday.
Cheese.
He was a rock and roll pioneer known for the songs Roll Over Beethoven and Johnny Be Good.
Let's get it.
Oh, no, wait. Chuck Berry.
Chuck Perry.
Berry.
Bear.
He animated Looney Tunes and Merry Melody cartoons.
Skip.
Pass.
This animal is associated with potentially tossing wood in a childhood.
Woodchuck.
This is a weapon you might use in the martial arts.
Nunchuck.
Nunchuck.
This nickname for Converse All-Star
Chucks.
sneakers.
Chucks.
Taylors.
Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
In 1947, this test pilot broke the sound barrier.
Chuck Yeager. Right? No. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck Yeager.
So that's time. Okay, great job, Team Bishop Girton, with 90 points. And Nashua South, you have 360 points. Okay, so we are headed into round 4. This final round will be our 20-point toss-up round with a twist. Correct answers earn 20 points, incorrect answers lose 20 points. Think and buzz carefully, players. Let's begin. Okay. This country, founded in 1932 by King Abdulaziz, also known as Ibn Saud, is an absolute monarchy.
Saudi
Arabia?
Saudi Arabia.
Wait till
Yes. In 1967, Jennifer Renick of Nebraska won the Scripps National Spelling Bee by spelling the word Chihuahua which is the name for a small breed of dog that shares its name within the Mexican state of Chihuahua. Spell Chihuahua. Waleed?
CHIHUAHUA.
Nice. You have probably heard the Republican Party referred to as the GOP. What does the GOP stand for? Thanasi?
Grand Old Party.
Yes. The Broadway show Wicked is based on a 1995 novel by Gregory Maguire, which is based on the 1939 movie The Wizard of Oz and the 1900 novel The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by this author.
Frank Baum.
Ditia?
Frank Baum.
Yes. The first U.S. nuclear submarine, launched in Groton, Connecticut in 1954, was named for this marine mollusk, whose name is derived from the Greek word for sailor. Calvin?
Nautilus or something? Yeah.
Yes. This English musician had hits both with the Beatles and the band Wings. Calvin?
Paul McCartney?
Yes. This French philosopher and writer, known as a key figure in the philosophy of existentialism, was awarded the 1964 Nobel Prize in Literature, which he then turned down. Moving on, comedians Lou Costello and Bud Abbott were partners from 1936 to 1957. One of their most famous bits is this baseball-inspired skit that they first performed in 1938 on the Kate Smith Hour radio show. Tanasi?
Who's on first?
Yes. This is Italian astronomer, often called the father of observational astronomy, defended heliocentrism in his 1632 dialogue concerning the two chief world systems. Ditia?
Galileo.
Yes. Actress Zoe Saldana, who has portrayed Gamora in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has also portrayed Neytiri in the 2009 film Avatar and Nyota Uhura in this 2009 film. Moving on. What room in the White House has a major radius of 35 feet 10 inches and a minor radius of 29 feet? Ditia?
Oval Office.
Yes. Which amendment to the U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1913, allows for the popular election of U.S. senators? Calvin?
Is it the 17th?
No. BG?
15th.
No. The National Recording Registry was established by a 2000 Act of Congress to maintain and preserve sound recordings and collections of sound recordings that are culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Included in the first collection of sound recordings is the 1954 to 1955 Sun Records recordings by this hip-shaking artist. Ditia?
Elvis.
Yes. This baseball executive was the president and sole owner of the Boston Red Sox from 1933 until his death in 1976. A section of Jersey Street in front of Fenway Park was named for him in 1977. The name went back to Jersey Street in 2017 due to the Red Sox being that last team to integrate under his leadership. Next question. This Boston University biochemistry professor was also a prolific science fiction writer and the author of the Foundation series, a collection of 3 books, Foundation, Foundation and Empire, and Second Foundation. Calvin?
Asimov?
Yes. This chess prodigy won the U.S. Chess Championship in 1961 at the age of 14. Calvin?
Bobby Fischer.
Yes. In 1955, this black singer made her debut with a Metropolitan Opera in New York, making her the first black soloist to appear at the Met. Next question. British guitarist Tommy Iommi was one of the co-founders of this heavy metal band that was fronted by Ozzy Osbourne. Oh, Calvin?
Black Sabbath.
William Herschel, who identified the planet Uranus in 1781, also published 2 catalogs of these interstellar clouds of dust in 1802 and 1820. Thanasi?
Nebulas.
Yes. What is the volume of a box with a length of 5 inches, a width of 5 inches, and a height of 5 inches? Kobe?
125.
Yes. This politician, who was the first openly gay man to be elected to public office in California, was assassinated along with San Francisco Mayor George Moscone by former city supervisor Dan White in 1978. Calvin?
Milk?
Yes. In 1990, after 27 years behind bars, this future president of South Africa was released from Victor Verser prison. Ditya?
Nelson Mandela.
In 1926, it took 14 hours and 34 minutes for American swimmer Margarita Gertrudia McLeod to become the first woman to do this. Moving on. Choreographer and film and stage director Bob Fosse won the Academy Award for this 1972 musical about life in Germany in the 1930s during the rise of the Nazi Party in the Weimar Republic. Calvin?
The Sound of Music?
No. BG?
No.
Sam Watterson, Mel Gibson, Steve Martin, Robin Williams, Sir Ian McKellen, and Sir Patrick Stewart have all performed in this play by Samuel Beckett that features 2 characters, Vladimir and Estragon, who are waiting for a 3rd character. In 1782, George Washington introduced the Badge of Military Merit for soldiers wounded. Oh, sorry. I have to finish reading the question. Sorry, it was unlocked because no one
Sorry.
answered the last one. In 1782, George Washington introduced the Badge of Military Merit for soldiers wounded in battle. The Badge of Military Merit now features a profile of Washington and is known by this name. Kobe?
Purple Heart.
Yes. Last question. This character, created by cartoonist Charles Addams, did not have a name until she appeared in a sitcom that ran from 1964 to 1966. She now is the titular character in a Netflix series that premiered in 2022. Henry?
Wednesday.
Yes.
Oh. Good.
Wow, what a matchup. With a final score of South 700 and BG 130, South wins the match. Thank you to our players, the video production program, Granite State Challenge, PBS New Hampshire, and the viewers at home. Have a great day.